Hi guys, it's Bethany. Today we are going to do a little bit of a resin project here. I have this Great Lakes Escape coaster that I got from the crafting retreat I went to, and I want to fill these lakes with a little bit of blue resin and also put some clear resin over the top. So I am using this Pour On High Gloss Finish resin. It is a two-part resin. So you have the resin and then you have the hardener. So if you want to do this as perfect as possible, you'll want to make sure that you have the same weight of resin in both. So oops, I did that prematurely. So we are going to even this out. So it is at 0. And then we're going to pour some resin in. I don't need very much for this project. So let's see what we got here. Okay, we have an ounce. I think that's probably going to be too much. And then pour this until it shows, whoops. All right, I made a mistake. I went a little bit further on that than I needed to, so we need to add more of this other to even it out. Should do this till it gets to 3. Sorry, till it's 3, it'll be 0.6. There we go. Okay. That should be good. Honestly, because I am pouring a clear over the top of this, if for some reason this one doesn't set very good, I'm not going to be too concerned with that because I'm going to be covering it up with some other. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Okay, so when you're working with resin, you will want to make sure you wear gloves, wear a mask. This is a silicone baking sheet, which I use to work on my resins with. I'm going to color this with this Pinata color in teal. And I'm just going to mix this right into my resin. Do 5 drops, mix it up, see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's a very pretty color. Okay, so this is a situation where I could use a pipette to put this in here. I'm going to go ahead and try just pouring it right out of this cup. I might end up making a mess. Hopefully that's not the case. With the resin, because it will kind of spread itself out, you just need to kind of pour it in the middle and it'll kind of fill in the cracks. After you pour it, if there is still some space, you can wiggle it around a bit. Let's go ahead and do this little bitty one. This one I'm really nervous about. Do 1 drop at a time. We'll come back to that one. Since I'm not using the pipette, I just want to be really careful. Yeah, see that one kind of overflowed a little bit. Yeah. I want to be really careful that I don't accidentally pour too much. As you can see, the resin kind of fills itself in there in the spaces. Just keep adding till you have the, whoa, see what I did there? Really? Yes, I did that. You know what? I better wipe that up right away, actually. I feel like once this is dry, I could probably pick that off of there, but I don't want to take any chances. Like I said, I am going to cover this with some more resin, some clear. I'm gonna get a little bit, there's like one spot in there and I want to make sure I get it filled. The littlest of drops. Can I do it? Yes, but it is a little bit messy. Whoops. Okay guys, I'm getting a little shaky. Don't do what I do, please. Okay, I have a bunch extra. I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do with that. Okay, so, goodness, how embarrassing. So I did overfill some of these a little bit. Let's go ahead and soak up some of that with this tissue. Grab another tissue. Now because that is such a light color blue, I don't think it's going to show up so much, the spots that I've accidentally poured over. Hopefully not, but it might. Just hoping that it doesn't. Okay, so I think I have that wiped up mostly how I want it to be. Now, as you can see, there are little bubbles in there. So to get rid of those, just take a little bit of flame to them and those will pop right away. See how those just disappeared? You want to be careful that you don't get your project burned. But basically, if you just go over it with some fire, this I'm using a long multi-purpose barbecue barbecue lighter because I think that's for me the easiest to really get there. You know, not holding any other kind of lighter which could get too hot for my fingers. But as you can see, those bubbles just went right out of there, and that is looking great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this until tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm going to just put a clear coating over the top. Stay tuned. Okay guys, I am back. It has been 16 hours since I poured the resin in this. As you can see, it's looking awesome. So now what I want to do is pour a very thin layer over the top of all of this. I don't want it to come up past this because I would like there to still be this lip here, but we'll see how it goes. It may end up being just up to there or over. I'll do my best to just make it really thin, but we shall see. And then I have a couple things I'm going to do with any leftover resin that I might have. So once again, I am using the Envirotex Light Pour On High Gloss Finish. I have my scale. I have my measuring cup. Now I'm using the scale for the weight, but I'm also looking at the measurements on here to make sure that it's equal parts on here as well as on here, and trying to find the balance between the two. So I have my resin. We do not need as much as we did yesterday, but we'll see if I can manage. I don't know. Yesterday when I tried. Oh, did I even that out? Gosh dang it, I don't even think I did. Ugh. Let's try this again. Okay, so I need to remember that I poured just that little bit amount in ahead of time. In crafting, I mess up all the time, so it's one of those things you just kind of gotta go with the flow. That's not registering. This is kind of the problem I had last time, which is also why I'm looking at the measurements for it while I'm doing it. I'm going to add the hardener. Now when you're looking at your measuring cup, for those of you who might not have been paying attention in science class, you have to bend your head down to look at it evenly. Like, you can't look at it from above because the measurement is going to be different than if you're looking at it straight on. All right. So this did me no good this time, so we're gonna fire that. But I do have my measurements here. I don't know that you can see it, and I can't really tilt it quite right to show you, but I did up to the 10 for the resin and then up to the 20 for the hardener, and that makes it equal parts. So now I'm going to stir this for 2 minutes. All right, that is nice and stirred up. I am going to add something to this. I'm going to add this rainbow alcohol ink. I'm not going to use a lot, just enough to give it just a little something extra. All right, so I'm just going to add a couple drops of that. We'll have 4. Ooh, that's cool. Can you see that in there? Yeah, that looks really cool. I don't even know, because it's just such a small amount and it's pretty much clear. I don't even know if you're going to be able to notice it, but it adds a really cool sparkle. I'm hoping this shows up because that's really pretty. It's just like this clear sparkle. All right. Whoops, sorry. So I'm just going to pour all right. Let's see if that, see how that works. I'm just going to roll this around to get it evenly coated. I could use my finger to spread it around, which if it takes longer than I want for this to kind of spread around, I might do. But so far, this is looking great, and it has just a slight sparkle, which I love. It's kind of what I was hoping for. I think this is going to be just about perfect. Sometimes working with resin requires a lot of patience. Which I guess that can be said of most crafts, honestly. One of the reasons I like to do crafts, arts and crafts, is because it brings a certain kind of peace and relaxation Okay. That's perfect. I don't see a lot of bubbles. Well, there are some, but I'm going to go ahead and use the flame over it. Oh yeah, that takes care of them right away. Actually, it's funny because I didn't see the bubbles, but as soon as I brought this out and started using it, I could see that it took away the bubbles right away. Okay, this is going to look awesome when it's dried. I love the slight glitter on there. That's perfect. So I should have thought about this a little bit before I did that because I'm not sure I want those sparkly things on this, but I made this paint pour tile while I was at the retreat and it's kind of gotten dinged up and stuff in travel. I want to cover it with some resin, and I'm probably going to use this as a coaster too. I'm going to have the coolest coasters because of my trip to the Great Lakes. Now this one I am going to go ahead and use my hand to spread around. Now one of these days I'm going to make a video for you guys. I paint rocks. I actually have a local rock painting group that I am an administrator for. And after I paint my rocks, I like to cover them with resin. And usually what I'll do is I'll either set them on something like this or just on the silicone mat. And I'll just swirl them around. I'll get a little bit of resin in my hand and just swirl them around. And then that coats them in the resin and protects them if I end up doing like a hide and seek sort of thing with them. So for this, that's kind of what I'm going to do, I think. But I'm just going to kind of lightly go over the top of it. And as I was saying, you can do this like with the coaster. I don't know why, but I felt like I just needed to be patient and let it pour out. So then for the sides, I'm just going to dip one of my fingers in there, rub the resin on the side. One of the cool things about resin is because there's probably a word for it, but it levels itself out. You basically don't have to worry about making sure everything's on there even because it will, like I said, take care of itself. But you know, it's nice to try to do as nice job as you can. So did I do this top side? I don't know. It feels like it actually. Okay, so there's that. It's gonna have a little extra sparkle on it. But that's okay because it's cool. I really like that effect. It's like adding glitter, but it's super fine. All right, guys, I have a few more things that I'm gonna pour this into and make, but that's basically what I had to show you today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.